All right, we are now live. Listen, Steve and Jana Benoon here on Israeli News Live. My lovely wife, she's up there in Texas, or no, that's down there. Gosh, honey, but you look so beautiful tonight, and and I'm missing her tremendously. So I cannot wait for my wife to be here in Tennessee. Still dealing with some things there, but Jana has started some very interesting project. Those of you that know already, uh, Jana's also present on Twitter. I want to bring up her Twitter account real quick. I got to, and please bear with me, guys. I am learning how to use this. And I do know that, let's see, share screen. Uh, let's see. I don't, whoop, let's, okay, there we go. There's share screen, and then it shows me what I can do there. Um, Whoop, I'm on the wrong screen, but that's okay. Let me just see real quick. I wanted to go to Jana's Twitter. Wrong one. That's my Twitter. Okay, let me see real quick, though. I have to make sure. Okay, we're not sharing the screen yet. So, okay, let me go back. Let me do it again. I'm going to get it right here in a second. All right, so you have to, when you do that, let's see. I want to add another screen. So let's see. Stop the screen. Go back. I know this is a little frustrating, guys, so because I'm new at this, but we wanted to be able to go live on multiple platforms. So it's like right now, tonight, we should be live on my own X channel as well as our Israeli News Live on YouTube. And I'm going to double check real quick, Bianca, while you're, just to make sure that we're actually on. And
I don't see us on.
So we are live. We're live on Israeli News Live YouTube. So yes, we are on. I just double checked it. We are live right now. Now, are you able to see? Let's see here. Are you able to see the screen now or no?
No.
There we go. Now I got it. Now.
Yeah.
Colin was doing all the managing of this last night when I learned, or day before yesterday when I learned how to use StreamYard. And so he's kind of the one that got me into doing this. So it's kind of exciting to learn. And I know that, oh gosh, the brother there, I forget his, blank on his name right now, but Brother Anthony uses StreamYard, and he's told me I should get it. So anyway, now we're trying it.
Well, so Steve, you better hang out with the younger guys so they can
right, to be smart. There you go.
Yes, they teach us all the dummies how to use technology.
That's exactly right. So anyway, my lovely wife has her own Twitter channel, and we both have an independent one. So we're constantly dealing with issues that we kind of the same things anyway. We deal a lot with Israel and exposing those things there that are going on there. But if you have not subscribed to Jana's Twitter account, you really, 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 really need to. Her account is Jana Satova. That's her maiden name, at INL Jana. And that's how you would find her. I'll put it in the description a little bit later after we publish this video, and it goes completely full blown there. And I'm just going to look real quick too, Jana, to see if we are actually. Let me drop that down. I want to see. I don't know how to see if we're live on mine, but this says I am on my channel. Let's see here. Yes, we are live on X right now. So looky there. Are you able to see that? Probably not. When I change screens, I don't think you see that when I change the screens, but we are live on X and we're live on YouTube. So that's really cool. So we pulled it off.
Yes. Congratulations, Steve.
Oh, I feel like a little kid right now, right? It's so crazy. All right.
It's embarrassing.
Right. First thing that's pinned on my wife's website, though, is the case about what happened to our family. Her father, in particular, Dr. Carrie Madej, who injected this family with 21 mils of peroxide. This is a horrible, horrible tragedy that just has so many angles to it. And but anyway, we actually talked about that over on Colin's channel the other night. But Jana, you kind of lead this. I'll just and you can even share a screen from your side, but if you want me to navigate it here, I can. But just tell me which direction you want to go in.
Oh, I don't know. This is more like a chat that we just wherever we land today, we will just kind of discuss issues. But well, what you see there on the Twitter is a Ben Gavir. It's just a post from past when he was saying, to IDF that if the Palestinian children cross certain yellow line, the IDF is to shoot them. So, I lost many nights over Palestine, over Palestinian people, children, women, elderly, and men too. And it breaks my heart that Israel can get away with genocide. They can televise it. They can get away with this because that makes you think, what else can happen? I mean, if they got away with this the way that they did with the support of USA, okay, the most powerful nation on this planet is behind them, then you realize that anything can happen now to anybody. There is no rules. There is no defense. Anything can happen to anyone, to any person. So in my life now, I don't feel my father got justice, and I'm still fighting for justice. I will never stop. And plight of Palestinians is very personal to me because I know how they feel. Imagine in front of you your own children being blown up, and you will never get justice for this.
Exactly.
Okay. So I feel for them. I literally lost sleep, and it boggles my mind that this can actually happen. And what's worse is that Christians of this country had the power to stop it, and they didn't. And they don't talk against it, but they stand behind genocide. And that is very dangerous to me because I realize that how brainwashed people can do bad things in the name of God. It's just how powerful brainwashing can be. So that's what I wanted to say. And about my Substack, if you can bring up my Substack, I mean, there's a lot that I post on the Twitter constantly.
Yeah. I was just scrolling through because I knew you had a lot of things about what's happening to Palestinian children, and I was actually going to try to pull some of those things up there. So, yeah, let's go to your Substack now, Janka.
Yes, I just started writing in Substack because it's not only necessary and needed, but for two reasons, basically. One, it is my healing station. This is where I pour my heart out about several issues, but the main purpose of Substack is to educate the public about the Noahide laws, everything possibly about the Noahide laws. And of course, to the paid members, we're going to do some perks for them, speak about some of the things that happened to our family, some of the private things from our family. And we will also I will write about health and why am I studying? And I'm very close to become a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And why did I even decide to do this? And so this will be basically where people who are interested in Noahide laws, understanding them, their danger for Christianity, that's where they can read about it because I will be quite active there. It is kind of easier for me to express myself in writing rather than being here on a camera, although I will still be on a camera, but it's just better for me when I'm writing. It's easier. So, and also, I'm writing this book on Noahide laws, and those people who will be paid subscribers, I'm basically going to put the whole book over there, but in parts. So I'm writing a book, but it's going to be there on Substack and they will read it basically in parts. So they don't have to purchase the book basically, because all information is there, but that will be only for the paid members, although I will still be educating them for free. Some of the free members can still benefit. I'm just
right. And I actually became the first subscriber. You think I'm going to let anybody beat me to that?
No, thank you, Stevie. You're really cute.
You know, I want to be my wife's biggest fan because, you know, I listen to her. I hear the things that she says. I get a chance to read her articles. When we're together, I get to read them beforehand, but even afterwards. And I can tell you today, now this one's the invitation to subscribe to Jana's Substack. It's a very well written article just talking about how this is going to be. But, you know, when she sent me today, the one in defense of the camel riders, this one, just the way Jana writes. I mean, I've written a couple of books myself, which, by the way, hopefully you can't see the one that I have up there because those I'm ashamed of because they're very pro-Zionist way of thinking. But the thing is I was looking at the way Jana's writing is grown. And I told her, I said, honey, I said, you have the ability to not only personalize, but when you can write in such a way that you cause a person's mind to image that scene, to see what you're writing about, that's when you know you're a good writer, because you captivate their senses to feel and understand what you're writing about. And I really did. I was reading this article. I was actually out in town, and she told me, she said, you ought to take a chance, and when you get a chance, just stop and look at it. It's only a 3-minute read. And I was just blown away with it. And especially because of living in Israel. I lived there longer than my wife did, but I lived there. I knew, she talks about Bedouins in there. Bedouins are mostly in the West Bank. They're not in Gaza, but they're in the West Bank. And the most precious people of all were the Bedouins. Right. And like my wife will tell you, they're the real camel riders. So if you haven't seen that article yet you definitely want to visit her site here on Substack. It's janasatova.substack.com. And, you know, I'm sure you'll be blessed by that. So.
Well, thank you, Steve. But, you know, I write and then I do run it through grammar check and all kinds of stuff because, you know, how it is, it would take me maybe 10 times longer. So, and, you know, like people in my age, the women who are in menopause, and yes, you know, this is just what I'm going to write about too. We don't sleep, Steve. We can't sleep. You know, the one of the symptoms is no sleep, literally. And so when I have this interrupted sleep and I get up in certain hours in the morning, and this is when you spend time with God. This is when you go within yourself to the kingdom within, I would say. And in this article I describe, I was getting this, you know, one person was sending me news out of Israel, and I just kind of read it and saw how Israeli politicians and rabbis speak about camel riders. They call Arab people savages and terrorists and camel riders. And so basically I'm writing about how deeply it affected me and how hypocritical Israeli politicians and rabbis are. I mean, and you will see in that article a little paragraph, because what really got to me is, you know, when you truly belong to certain land, you understand the spirit of that land, you understand the animals of the land. And if you're truly from that land, there is something within you in your DNA, okay? And you can't help but speak lovingly of that land and animals of the land. But that's not what these politicians and rabbis do, okay? They mock camel riders. So I was kind of pouring my heart out on this because it's just, that's what I felt, you know. But it is part of exposing Noahide laws And when you read the article, you will see why. But anyway, so thank you for that. I just wanted the people to know that there will be a lot of free articles as well. So you don't have to be paid subscriber. And if you are paid, I mean, I'm spending a lot of time on I will be spending a lot of time on this. And this is where you will be able to find a lot of Noahide information. So you can get education on that. So I just wanted to direct people to that.
Can I share something real quick about this? What you did when you wrote this article, this brought back a couple of memories for me. Besides the fact of us when we lived there, and you and Ariella going down to the camels and stuff. I did ride on a camel my first time in 2004 when I lived in Israel. And then I developed, I think it was around 2005 or 2006, I developed a very kindred spirit to this one Bedouin that would bring his camel up to Jerusalem. But one particular event that moved me so deeply, I was down in Jericho. And while I was there, I got out with this one guy. He wanted to show me some places there. Very tense at the time because it was during the Intifada. So there was a lot of tension between Israelis and Palestinians. And I'm going along and I saw this camel and he had bad wounds on him. And I could tell that he was not being cared for with real genuine love. And my heart broke for that camel. And I went over there and I touched him gently and I prayed for that camel because I thought, that's just terrible that they don't love this camel like they should. And the thing is, it's really strange. I'm reading this article that you wrote and you wrote so beautifully about, if you're truly descendant of this land, you should not speak of these camels so disrespectfully and then talk about, because it's not just the fact that they're demoralizing the Palestinians or the Saudis. In this case, I believe you were speaking about the Saudis as well, but they're demoralizing this animal. And yet you write so beautifully that the historical, not just the historical, but the scientific facts about these animals and the love they have and the memories that they have. And that just touched me because I thought, I remember how I felt. I really felt so horribly bad for this camel that was so mistreated, and I thought, if I lived here, I'd want to take and come and buy the camel and take him away from the guy.
And, I was actually thinking, why don't you see the Jewish rabbis riding camels in Israel? I mean, when we went there, they don't. Okay. And you don't see politicians or even regular Israelis riding camels. It's always the Arabs or Palestinians there, which, very well what the DNA studies are showing, that they're actually the true Israelites, the original inhabitants of that land. So that is almost just making me question, do these people really belong there, right? Maybe some of them, but they don't even have in their DNA love for that land the way they should show it, and those people who really do show love for the land, they grow olive trees. Look at the idea of how they're destroying olive trees.
Yes. And the
genuine love for this land. You wouldn't touch the olive trees.
Burning their olive groves, pulling up the trees, destroying them.
Right. You can see that they are in pastures and they're stealing. They're stealing something that does not belong to them. And it's really deep once you realize it in your heart.
Yeah.
Yet they call themselves the chosen, and they claim that they have an ancestral right to that land. Yet you can see by their behavior that in their interest is just power, technology, business. There's nothing about these people that proves that they belong to that land.
It's so true. I remember one time too, Jana, and I won't stay on this anymore, but I was over in the West Bank and I was in the middle of the desert somewhere. And this next thing I know is like coming out of nowhere, they just stood up and they began to run like wild horses in the old days here. And there still are wild horses, believe it or not, in certain parts of this country. But it was like wild horses, and it was like young camels, older camels, and they were just running across that desert, you know. And I don't think they were wild, but it was just like, you don't see any fences or anything. It's like, wow, that is so amazing. So, so thank you for writing that. It's so beautiful.
Well, you know, let's see what God puts on my heart again. But I am focusing, if you go to another article there about Noahide laws, why Christianity and Noahide laws do not reconcile, and they will never reconcile, you know, and that's just kind of a little feel for just the beginning of explanation what Noahide laws are and why they're so dangerous. And they are just kind of antithesis of each other, you know what I mean? Completely two different ideologies that will never meet. We can never meet with that. So how we as a Christians, we can never agree because basic concepts already disagree. So we have so many Christian leaders today promoting Noahide laws, talking about Noahide laws. And some of them maybe speak this from complete ignorance. They just don't understand what the punishment is, what the sub-laws are. So I'm going to explain to detail and why it is a danger today. You know, people think that here in the United States they're safe because they have constitutional rights, separation of the church and state. But if you're looking at what's happening in politics and religion, you can see how slowly things are creeping in. And all you have to do is talk to the subconscious of the people, okay? Make them believe a lie, and then law can change. You can also create chaos and emergency situations where all of your rights will be taken away from you, and then they will bring completely new system. You're going to wake up one day to a completely new system, and it is going to be a Jewish law, you know, Noahide law that under Jewish tradition is a law for the Gentiles, and you will be answering to the rabbinic courts. So I'm going to write about these things and why we have to be vigilant and awake, and how we as Christians were given the power. We are supposed to co-rule with Christ now, not sometime in the future. It is now that we can take back what belongs to us and we can protect it. And we don't have to really end up in Noahide laws if we just woken up and took our inheritance in Christ.
Well, you know, Jana, when you mention these Noahide laws, one thing that comes to mind is the video you sent me of Charlie Kirk. Now, whoever posted the video, you can tell it's definitely an older video of him, but he, without saying the word Noahide laws, he is endorsing the very fundamental precepts of the Noahide laws. And I believe, and I'm sure, I know you believe this, the same in this here, Charlie was like, even like we were years ago, he was a diehard Zionist. He loved Israel. He loved the people, basically anything Israel goes. Something happened in this young man. And of course, with this TPUSA, heavily funded, Israeli donors, backers, etc. But something happened to him and he began to change. And ultimately, because he was affecting young voters in this country, they realized they could not have such a powerful organization now flipping on them and being against everything that Israel is doing and not being pro-Israel. In fact, Candace Owens, I think, released the letter that was sent to Netanyahu by him. It was leaked out, and it did confirm that Charlie flat out refused Netanyahu, and no, he was not in favor of Israel. But I think we should, you actually asked me to bring it up. I think we should play a clip so people can see this is the direction Israel wanted TPUSA going, what Charlie was saying originally. Would you like to play that?
Yes, and what I want to say was a woman that I admire, sister in Christ that I admire greatly, Deanne Lauper, that sent me this video yesterday, and she asked me, what does this remind you of? And as I listened to the video, it's only 3 minutes long. It's really not that long, so we can listen to this whole thing and then debate this or talk about this a little bit, Steve. But she, she says, like, what does it remind you of? So I wrote her back and I said, Noahide laws. I mean, but at the same time, just what you said, Steve, I want to remind people that a lot of people, especially in the United States, were brought up with a Zionistic mindset. We were made to believe that the only way to serve God is to support Israel as a political state. Okay, that goes almost the same way, like Jesus equals loving Israel. And if you don't, then you're not a Christian. I mean, that's just how they're brought up. That's how they're brainwashed.
Yes.
Every pastor, every Sunday church, every Sunday service, it's just that's what they heard for years and years and years. And you know very well that what you hear over and over and over, it becomes your truth. So I think that Charlie grew up like that, and he truly believed this from all of his heart. And as I told you, that when you believe a lie, sometimes you can say and do things in the name of God. They're just evil, and you don't realize you're doing it.
That's right.
But then Holy Spirit comes and you are reborn and everything makes sense. And then sometimes it takes 24 hours. It took me only one afternoon, Steve, when Christ came to me, if you remember that day. Yes,
I do.
Long time ago. Yesterday, I was somebody else, and tomorrow, I'm crying for Jesus. So it can happen that fast. And there are some seeds over there that somebody planted. But then it's a time of harvest. It's a time where Holy Spirit gets a hold of you, and suddenly you see, like that song says, I was blind, but now I see. And I truly believe that this is what happened to Charlie Kirk. Yeah. So yes, he was a wonderful Israeli asset for Zionist agenda, and I agree. But then if you listen to his latest podcasts, okay, he started to see things, understand things, and he was in kind of like a process of awakening. Yeah. And when they saw that, when Israel saw that, they could not allow this to happen. He had way too many followers, way too much influence, and they knew that if this goes, they're done. Now that tells you in itself that Christians have power.
Yes.
They have power to stop this evil. So I hope that people can really understand. And you know that being reborn, just remember Apostle Paul. He was a killer of Christians. Okay. He was a Pharisee who hated Christians, and he was killing them. And then he met Christ. And it took a moment, and he was reborn and changed, a changed man. Okay. So then he fought for Christ. So, this is how I want to play this video so people can understand that I'm not criticizing Charlie Kirk in some kind of bad intention here. But yes, he used to promote agenda of Israel.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Let's go ahead and play this, and so people can hear this.
Penalties. I think what some of those guys did to Donald Trump to use the instruments of government to destroy the constitutional order, that should be under consideration. Okay.
And it was by firearm.
Yeah, that's how you should. By the way, this is my other problem with death penalty. It takes too long, too many appeals.
Expensive.
It should be public. It should be quick. It should be televised.
Well, this can't be right, can it? The last execution in France was guillotine in 1977.
100% true. They used the guillotine
Until
the whole way.
77?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
There's videotape of it.
Honestly, that's like what we should be doing, and I agree. It should be public
and
should be public
televised.
square.
By the way, you could fund
force
the
kids
government
to watch it.
You could have like brought to you by Coca-Cola, and no, I'm not kidding. By the way, I would totally tune in to see some pedo get their head chopped off. Convicted by a jury.
By the way,
peers.
that's going to get.
No, I'm talking about a real thing. I'm not talking
all
about
executions in Belarus are by firearm. That's not a choice or anything.
Andrew's saying don't make kids watch it, and I think no, the absolute
I think
opposite.
at a certain age, it's an initiation.
16, if you can drive, you can watch
but hold on.
it.
Not even 16.
If
I would
all of a
say-
sudden you look at some of these savages, like in Indiana, there was this guy that went in and killed a pregnant woman and her 3 kids.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. And I think that would be justice. You think children should have? You should see it. What is the age? At what age should you start to see public executions?
16.
I think you could do it earlier. I think you maybe at age 12,
Whenever-
like 6th grade or so. You are a person, they're old enough to. You don't need to like really wallow in it and have them be broken on a wheel or anything. But if it was something like chopping, if we had a guillotine or something.
I think it's the age where they can't be, I think there's too early and you become desensitized to maybe like this. I think it's when you can actually embrace.
But it should also be
the
taken
meaning.
in a holy way.
The meaning.
No, I don't mean holy in a bad way. I mean that like this is heavy.
Like, this is the
Bluntly,
meaning
we
of
have
it.
kids who are 14 who are committing carjackings in
100%.
cities and doing
Yes.
bad stuff. And I think
Yeah, you're
if
probably
you sent
right.
the
Maybe
message
like
to them, if you do a bad crime, you will die, and it will be like this, and that
No,
will
but
be
just-
you.
just
But I
for-
think it
would be
tears
a
down.
positive message.
So
If-
my argument would be younger people get involved with that because they're around older people who do those things.
I want you to imagine
And gangs.
every day, all of a sudden they said, and today, remember that awful the guy that went and shot up a school? Because, left hates school shooters, and so do we. But they focus on the gun. I think they're evil. So, you take one of these school shooters and they say, today we're going to publicly execute this person. And
About
they read
the
off
Super Bowl.
No, yeah, the shooters at the Super Bowl thing, and you read off what they did.
parade,
and
not
you don't celebrate it. You just say, look, this is what they did, and if you do this, this will be your fate. Ready, set, go. Boom. End of life. And say
Guillotine.
And I just
Scared
a question.
Straight used to be a whole TV show.
No, but
like,
I-
this is
as a
Scared
question-
Straight for everybody.
Here's a question for anyone that might be, not persuaded. Would crime go up or down?
It would go way down.
Done. So that why is this even a question?
Well,
Wow.
Okay,
Steve,
Jana, listen.
there were so many thoughts in my head. I wanted to stop you because I want to just.
Yeah, I did too. Right? I mean, most people would probably. For one, just to have a conversation like that so openly, willing to just kill everybody. Now, here's the irony of it. When you listen to what Charlie Kirk was saying, the type of crimes that he's talking about, most of these are very heinous to people to begin with. But public executing, that's really crazy to begin with. Even, I don't believe in a death penalty in the first place. Life in prison, yes, 100%. But the reason, here's where I really get into what gets me about this whole issue, though. What people don't understand, what happened to Charlie Kirk was someone carrying out a Noahide law. He violated it, and they did to him exactly what he was talking about, but he has no idea. I don't think Charlie had a chance to wake up enough yet to know how serious these Noahide laws were. He doesn't know that there are 100 sub-laws, roughly 100 sub-laws in the Talmud, that his very fact that he turned against Israel became a violation of the Noahide laws that demands decapitation of that individual.
Yes. And okay, so let's talk about a few things in what these guys there, young guys there, talks about. When it comes to capital punishment, it already exists for crimes. It already exists. So if Charlie wanted to go watch it, he could go watch it. But we cannot have in the United States no due process because it's so easy to accuse someone falsely and it can be completely abused this type of thing can be abused. Imagine a person, what he's talking about there is just bring him on, he's accused, chop the head off. That one guy especially says guillotine, bring a guillotine back. And Charlie said, let it be public, quick, and all of that. Well, he says crime would go down. Well, it would be fear-based and a lot of innocent people would die, and government can abuse this. And especially government when it's government with ideology, either religious or political. So this is so anti-American and anti-constitution and anti-everything I have ever heard, this type of talk about what it really is, Steve, is a promotion of Noahidism, because that's exactly what they want. They want beheading, bringing guillotine backs, public executions, and no due process. And under Noahide law, Gentiles can be executed and accused just with one witness. And, as opposed to Jews, which they need 2 or 3 witnesses and 70 judges. One witness, one judge, and circumstantial evidence is enough for the Gentiles. So what Charlie Kirk is saying here, what they started to promote, to put in subconscious of this young generation, this far-right young generation, is to agree, to condition them that this is right, this is correct. And then they are using excuse of pedophiles. Okay, but who are the pedophiles? Look at Epstein list. Who are the pedophiles? Who's on that list? It's all the government.
You would have some people very high in power in this country,
yes,
right to the very capital, no doubt, that would also.
Yeah, but they would not be executed. They want to just bring it, condition people. It's okay, it's good, it's for your protection, and it's righteous. And Charlie called it justice. No, it's not justice.
Well, I think Charlie got a good awakening though because if you notice, he realized October 7th in Israel was an inside job. He figured that out, right? Then he even goes so far as to say it's a genocide in Gaza, right? So, but the thing is what Charlie doesn't realize, this was Noahidism in real practice in the country of Israel.
Yes. Well, and all over the world.
Exactly, right? Yeah, because the same thing with Ukraine. So these are all Israeli wars. Armenia, Israeli backed and everything. And literally you have this Jewish scholar, they call him Rabbi Fink. I hate using that word, but anyway, Mr. Fink, he's a Russian theologian of the Jewish faith. And he's clearly telling the people in the Russian television that and he names every single war, and he names Armenians, the Armenian Christians that were dying over there. He said they had blood libel. We had to pay them back. We funded it. We financed it, and he even says America will get it as well. Mm-hmm. That's why they're going to bring that in there. But like right now, Gaza, all these people they're killing them because they believe that they have a right to do so. And they call every one of them Hamas. They call every one of them terrorists. I mean, Greta Thunberg was very fortunate they didn't do that to her while she was there.
They tortured her.
Yes, they did.
Humiliated her.
Everything you could possibly imagine. I hope that Greta realizes we appreciate what she has done, the thing that she tried to do for the Palestinians, but I really hope she never goes back.
I also want to bring on that little video there that you played, and Dean Loper has alerted me to this when they're speaking, bring children to watch public executions.
I'll play that. Isn't that same video?
Oh, yeah. Did you listen? I mean, they speak of, can children watch?
Yeah, I know. They want to bring 12 years old.
Yes. Now, notice what's 12-year-old children. In Jewish law, 12-year-old girls and 13-year-old boys go through bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah, So this is when they declare them, entering adulthood, kind of like that's a celebration, so that they are no longer children, right? So that's interesting how this guy said, no, I don't think they should do it at 16. They should do it at 12. That's a very very strange idea, to do public executions by guillotine, beheading, and let the kids watch it. So can you imagine the trauma, the PTSD, the fear? I mean, I cannot even believe that these young men call themselves Americans.
It's
Or
terrible.
they can even agree, or they call themselves Christians.
Right.
I mean, this is just, it was so disgusting to me. But I'm glad that Charlie had awakening and he was starting to be dangerous for Israel.
Yes, he was. Okay. Are we on the screen now, or no, we're not?
I think we are. I can see you, but
There we go. I was trying to add this one here to the screen. Okay. So I'm back on it. You want me to play the part where they're talking about children, correct?
well, they
You
all
can drive. You can
No, but
watch.
hold
it.
on.
Not even
You,
16,
if
I would
all of a
say-
sudden you look at some of these savages, like in Indiana, there was this guy.
Let's see.
Like what we should be doing, and I agree. It should be public
And
it should be public
televised.
square.
By the way, you could sell, you could fund
force
the
kids
government
to watch it.
You could have like
Force
brought to
kids
you
to
by
watch it.
Coca-Cola. And no, I'm not kidding. By the way, I would totally tune in to see some pedo get their head chopped off. Convicted by a jury
By the
or
way,
peers.
all-
That's gonna get
No,
called up.
I'm talking about a real thing. I'm not talking
All
about
executions in Belarus are by firearm. That's
No,
not a choice or anything.
Andrew's saying
that's-
don't make kids watch it, and I think no, the
Well, I
absolute
think at a
opposite.
certain age, it's an initiation.
16,
Why
if you
not?
can drive, you can
No,
watch
but hold
it.
on.
Not
You
even
see,
16,
if
I would
all of a
say-
sudden you look at some of these savages, like in Indiana, there was this guy that went in and killed a pregnant woman and her 3 kids.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. And I think that would be justice. You think children should have? You should see it. What is the age? At what age should you start to see public executions?
16.
I think you could do it earlier. I think you maybe at age 12, like
Whenever-
6th grade or so.
There you go, Yanko. 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine? And how Jewish this is?
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So because of 12 and 13-year-olds, I already mentioned that, so I'll not repeat myself.
Exactly.
On the Jewish law.
Listen,
But-
I think we need to make, as we get our bugs worked out on learning how to do this, now that we know we can do StreamYard live, and we actually have more people watching on Twitter than we do YouTube right now.
Cool.
It's mainly because no one knows that we're on YouTube or they'd be here, right? So,
Yeah.
but maybe we should start trying to do more regular time on our live broadcast and sharing things like this.
Yeah, well, soon I will be with you. You have a few things to take care of in Tennessee still. But absolutely, we will continue advocating for Christ and speaking out against Zionist Christianity, which I believe is a heresy and apostasy. And my Substack is where I'm going to educating on Noahide laws. And then, of course, Steve, you're doing a lot of things and you do it every day. So, but anyway, and I think it's time to finish.
We were talking about too, just for those of you that are listening, one of the things we're going to start doing is on Patreon, besides the things that I'm loading there, which you guys don't even know it yet, but I loaded another video the other day. This one's on deep dive, because I promised our deep dive friends I would start going into biblical things far deeper than what we do publicly even. So you want to definitely go check that out. The one I did on 3i Atlas, really amazing. And you've got a lot of people now that are bringing that information out. We're talking about astronomers, and we're not just talking about one or two. We're talking about quite a few of them. They're freaking out over this thing. And I've done 2 videos there. I'm fixing to do another one because some of the information I just learned about it today, in fact. So, and then what I was going to say, though, is my wife was saying, look, people enjoy knowing about you personally. And we do a lot of things together. We cook together. I'm not a very good cook, but I'm a good guy, can chop up stuff that my wife needs.
I think I taught you a lot. I think I taught you quite of a lesson.
Yes. So we figured we would take on Patreon as well, begin to share with you some of those intimate moments that we have together here in life that you can be a part of. and just take you with us from time to time here. So we want to start doing that with you. So
Well, mostly because I do study and right now functional diagnostic nutrition, where we actually order blood tests for people and then explain what happens in the body. And those blood tests are not the ones that doctors do. There are very deep blood tests that kind of dive into what is the root cause of the symptoms, right? So I study that as well, and people are asking me questions or texting me, and it's just nutrition and lifestyle and supplements and certain things you know when you find out what is really going on in your body. So we with Steve, we are trying to live healthy as we
yes,
age, because we realize we are actually aging. Steve, I mean, one day we just woke up and we're like, we are getting
we're not 25 no more.
this is like different now, Steve. It's very different. So
Well,
I
listen,
realize that.
besides that, let me just throw this in here as well. And this is not to say it as an infomercial, but I'm going to tell you something. With all this that Jana studies with this functional medicine and things, you know, the Lifewave that we started 2 years ago on this X39, if you ever started and quit, I'm telling you, if you were in our Sunday night meetings, which we'll have one this coming Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, it's at x39hub.com. You ought to just come and listen to some of these folks. These people have been there for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are going to stop, right?
No.
I mean, look, I can run.
Chance.
I couldn't run. Jana knows, 15 years, I couldn't run.
Yeah.
And I got to the point I couldn't almost walk, right?
Yeah.
We had Dr. Ron Gunter. We had stage 4 kidney failure, congestive heart failure. Man's in great shape now.
Mm-hmm.
I had moderate high blood pressure. That normalized. I've always had a rapid heart rate. That normalized. My bowels that were collapsed. I was diagnosed when I first met Jana. I was diagnosed with collapsed bowels. And you know, and I won't go into the details of that, but the thing is, after a year and a half of being on this thing, suddenly, boom, everything went normal.
Well, we do a lot of. I'm not saying that this is some sort of a miracle you put.
It's not a cure-all, right?
Right, because what will happen is, you know, people have it. They kind of wait on some miracle, and then it doesn't happen. And it's the lifestyle. It's everything that you do. And when you hit age 50, you really have to think, well, you can't do things you used to do. Things are different. And if you don't start exercising, eating right, taking care of yourself the proper way, sleeping, if you don't start doing this, the rest of few years left, you know, the last decades are going to be very difficult. So with Steve, we decided we're going to stay young and active, and we started a different lifestyle of exercise, of proper eating, and we're doing best we can in that. So we kind of want to share that part of our life with you as well. But anyway, Steve, I think that's it for tonight.
Okay, so we want to thank you for listening. If you do want to try Lifewave, like I said, join us on our meeting Sunday. We'll help you through it. And if you want to try it, and I'm not talking about being a salesman, I'm just talking about if you want to try the product. You can also support the work we do. And of course, joining Jana Substack is a great way, or our Patreon channel, or you can actually just donate online on our website, israelinewslive.org. Your support means a great deal because we give our entire life dedicated to helping humanity along. And so we want to thank you for being a part of that with us. And by the way, Monday, two things I want to share real quick coming up, guys. Jana is going to be on with John B. Wells on Caravan to Midnight. Now, they haven't set the time yet or the date, but John B. Wells has reached out to me. He's wanting Jana on. So that's going to be an interesting thing there. Josh with Crowdsource is going to be doing a broadcast with me on Monday night. And that man just sent me images of things I've been working on Charlie Kirk that were breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. And I can't wait for my wife to be here either. That's most important to me. I'll put in the description once the video is ended, and I can get in there to edit it. So it might take a little bit of time, but I'll put in there Jana's her Substack for you. But it's very simple. It's Jana, Jana. Her maiden name, Sutova, S-U-T as in Tom, O-O, V as in Victor, A as in Apple, .substack.com. And you can go there, but it'll be in the description for you below there. So if you want to go and subscribe there, you can do it for free as well. She does have content that she puts out for free, but it'll be a real blessing. And it's a blessing for her to see the love and support that people are giving her over there. So we want to thank you for that and for your kindness. God bless you for that. So, all right, Janka. Anyway, I love you, and I can't wait to see you. So I tell you that right here in front of everybody.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Steve. Really, I love you too, baby. So thank you for listening, and all of you have a good night and be blessed.
Thank you.